The Book of True Life, Teaching 25 of 366. The Master teaches. False fear of spiritual knowledge and instructions for believers. Divine Revelations, Mexico, from 1866 to 1950. The Lord says, "The spirit of Elijah, like a celestial bell, has awakened you, so that you would come to hear my word. Your heart anxiously asks itself, what will the nourishment be that the Father gives us to taste on this day? What will the lesson for today be? Truly, I say to you, a woman left someone seriously ill in order to come and hear me, and I say to her, when you return home, that sick one will leave his bed, and he himself will open the door and give you the good news that he is well. For he who forsakes his worldly benefits to be with me will have someone watch over what he has left behind, and it will be me. I behold those who, while suffering great pain, have shed tears in the corner of their chamber, without being in despair or complaining against me, but accepting their ordeal humbly, knowing that in order to attain my kingdom, it is necessary to be worthy of it. I see everyone traveling different roads of the human struggle, and I have become a pilgrim who crosses your path to ask you, where are you going? And while some answer me, we seek peace, others say to me, we are in search of bread. Then the Master goes ahead and knocks at the door that you are going to knock upon, so that your brethren will receive you with charity and goodwill. This is why, once you do knock, you find their hearts, which were previously hard as rock, deeply moved. You recognize my presence and say to me, Lord, is the compassion that you have for us so great? The ordeals that you encounter along your path have not happened by chance. I have allowed them to happen, so that you can earn merits. The leaf of a tree does not move without my will, for I am within the greater as well as the lesser works of creation. Be watchful and pray, so that you will understand what fruit you should gather from each ordeal, in order for your purification to be shortened. Carry your cross with love, and I will make it possible for you to endure your restitution with patience. This is the third era, in which I come anew to tell you, love one another, but not only among human beings, but from one world to another. You should love and have pity on those who are in spirit as well, for they too are your brethren. How distant is the time when you were told, he who kills by the sword will die by the sword. The measure you give is the measure you get. Today I say to you, truly repent. Cleanse your blemishes with acts of charity, forgiveness, and love. From all the pathways I have called you, to give only one teaching. Upon my table have never been any fruits that were better than others. I have offered only one bread and one and the same wine to all. Those sat at my table have been the influential ones as well as the outcasts, the rich as well as the poor, the sinners as well as the meek. I have received those who have lived with purity, as well as those who arrive with their spirit blemished. I teach you this so that, along the path of your existence, you will never discriminate against any of your brethren. Be humble before those who feel superior, and he who humbles himself before you, considering himself small, make him understand that he is not any less than you are. It is necessary to practice my doctrine in order to understand the infinite power of love. Love is the virtue that converts the sinful man into my disciple. Love is the essence of the eternal life. There are those who ask me, why do you need to speak to us in this manner in order to guide us along the path of the evolution of the Spirit? Truly, I say to you, this word that you hear is the book which comprises my wisdom. Why have I opened this book before you? To reveal many mysteries to man, to shed light upon the darkness of ignorance. Truly, I say to you, that men of power cannot do it all, nor do the wise men know everything, nor do the theologians know me in truth. That is why I have come anew as the master among mankind, to illuminate your understanding, so that you may understand the great revelations, provided that you do not pretend to have reached the height of my wisdom, but penetrate my sanctuary with respect and humility. He who enters it thus will be guided by me as far as I will it, and he will never experience pain. Analyze the signs of these times. Its fruits are bitter, because men want to penetrate into my secrets without any respect. And how many, upon discovering on a minimalistic scale the wonders of the universe, have doubted the existence of an omnipotence that has created everything. They are those who only believe in what they see and what they touch, but everything that is beyond their comprehension is denied by them. The knowledge that lies beyond your comprehension and materialism is what I have come to teach you, so that you can attain your spiritual perfection. Be prepared, O humanity, so that you will avoid eating those bitter fruits that science prepares for you. I have always come to reveal to you the secrets of the true life. During the Second Era, great multitudes listened to me. Thousands of sick ones were healed, just by being touched by me, or by listening to my word of tenderness, or being contemplated by my loving gaze. Many of them loved and recognized me, although not all followed me, for only 12 were the ones who accompanied me to the very end. Their names are immortal, because of their examples of perfection, virtue, and sacrifice which they left to you. However, they were not perfect when I called them. If they had been, I would not have called them to me to teach them. And neither do I find just or perfect people among you. But you will be converted through my teaching, and you will perform great deeds. The heart of mankind is hardened, but I will enlighten you along the pathway, so that you will come out ahead. In the Second Era, when my apostles were scattered throughout the world, Peter had moments of weakness before the persecutions, cruelty, and hardness of men, and wanting to flee Rome to save his life, he beheld the silhouette of Jesus carrying the cross upon his shoulders, advancing toward the pagan city. Peter asked his master, "Where are you going, Lord?" To which Jesus answered, "To die again for you." Peter sobbingly offered his Lord to return to the bosom of the sinners, to save them, even at the cost of his own blood and life, to die imitating his master. That is why I say to you, do not wait for 1950, the year of my departure, to surprise you unprepared and weak. For if you want to arise and spread my teachings thus, you will weaken. Then you will seek my word to strengthen yourselves, but you will not find it. Today, even while I am still teaching you, Arise to practice my lessons. Regenerate yourselves. Take a step towards spirituality. I will animate you with deeds and miracles, and you will marvel before the great revelations that I will give you from spirit to spirit. I will surprise the materialistic scientists, manifesting to them the existence of the spiritual. All that they have denied, and which nonetheless exists, will be beheld by them. Then their curiosity will be aroused, the ambition to investigate the hereafter, and that will be the moment in which my emissaries and disciples will appear to explain all that I have revealed to you, and prevent mankind from creating sects and theories around my new revelations. Today is the time to listen, to meditate, and if the moment arrives, to go in pursuit of the peoples and nations, and some of you are unable to do it, then do not fear, for even where you dwell now, you can do much good. Let your children be the ones to spread the good news to distant lands. Remember how I have said that the first will be last, and the last will be the first. Today, the multitudes come before my teaching. Those who suffered the most, those who hunger and thirst for justice, those who dream of a peaceful life. They are the ones that remain to continue listening to my word. From among these poor, rude, and simple people, I am selecting those through whom I give you my word. The Divine Master of all periods returns to you, to communicate with mankind, guiding the spirit in this manner toward a new day. Prepare your understanding so that you can analyze my word with righteousness. I have already said that the spiritual followers will be the ones who will give a just interpretation of the lessons your Father has revealed to you, in this era and in past times. He who reads in my book and analyzes it in a spiritual sense will be the one who approaches the truth. In order to succeed in defining this doctrine truthfully, first you have to struggle within yourselves, and sometimes you will even reach a state of confusion. But he who, in the midst of his turmoil, is vigilant and prays, trusting in me, will feel that calmness and peace have come to his spirit. The unleashed elements will cause the trees to shed their vain fruits and their dry leaves, until they are free from impurities. Are you not aware that tomorrow, when you cease to hear this word, you will be left alone on the path, teaching your brethren what you learned from me? I will always be within each one of you. The Master will prepare the way, and the disciple will fulfill his mission. I promised to enlighten men, so that all would know and understand the revelations of my doctrine. This is the time in which that promise has been fulfilled. This era which man did not wait for, because he has lost himself in a life of science, from which he has built a new world. In this new world, the spirits were anxious for my return, for they knew that for them, my teaching is their freedom, their elevation, and with which they will attain peace. Some have awaited this era while inhabiting the spiritual realm. Others have waited for the miracle while being inhabitants of this earth. Blessed are those who were able to wait with their lit lamp, like the prudent virgins of the parable. The spirits anxiously awaited the coming of the Messiah during the second era as well. Some in the material world, others from the spiritual mansions. Because Christ is the door. He is the key. He is the way, and the spirits know it. Within me is the power to awaken the spirit of mankind. And in truth I say to you that the hour approaches, and there will not be a single one who will not be moved by my call. Some will awaken from the materialism that made them lethargic, others from their drunkenness for blood and diversion. Others will awaken from their sleep of ignorance, whose night of darkness and fanaticism has been very long indeed. At the exact moment the spiritual light shines upon mankind, prayers will emerge from the spirits, and they will ask the Father what they should do to please him, and thus be able to approach his presence. Analyze my word, O disciples, and you will find wisdom in its essence, so that your spirit may be instructed in the Father's doctrine of love. For it is your spirit to whom I have come to speak, to instruct, preparing it for a more elevated life. You realize that the body is only an instrument for the spirit. Proof of this is that it is mortal and temporary, and on the other hand, the spirit is destined for eternity. How ignorant of the spiritual teachings I find this humanity. And that is because it has been taught that my law and my doctrine are only a morality, merely of use as an aid, and not as the path that will guide its spirit toward the perfect mansion. The different religions have come sowing a false fear toward spiritual knowledge within the heart of man, which has caused them to flee from my revelations and be submerged in the confusion of their ignorance, arguing that the spiritual life is a profound mystery. Those who affirm this are lying. All the revelations that God made to men since the beginning of mankind itself speak of the spiritual existence. It is true that I have not revealed all my teachings to you, because you were not capable of knowing it all until the time arrived. But what the Father has revealed up to now is enough for you to have a complete knowledge of the spiritual life. O beloved people, you may call this time opportune, for in it you have received the visit of your Father. And if you wish to designate this date as a great event, record it as the year of 1866, which was when Elijah affirmed that the moment of my presence among this people was near. Since then, I have been selecting my disciples, so that they will faithfully follow me along this path. Do you wish to follow me? Do you wish to be of my disciples? Seek me with the gentleness and the confidence with which Peter, Andrew, James, and John followed me, leaving behind their loved ones, their fishing boats and nets, in order to become fishermen of men, as I called them. Today, I come to prepare a people who will give testimony of my truth. By what means am I going to manifest myself in the world, if not through my disciples? I want you to meditate deeply on my word before you initiate the path of fulfillment. Be prepared, because men are strong in their convictions. Develop yourselves in thought, as well as in words and deeds. Then you will have nothing to fear. Yes, my people, I can see that you are attempting to practice my teachings, to live complying with my law, in order to please me with your deeds. The Master blesses you, and he encourages you to be perseverant in your regeneration, so that you can attain spirituality. After the ceasing of my word, you will do what my apostles of the second era did. They would gather to pray, and in that manner they would receive the divine light, which guided them in each one of their steps. By means of the spiritual prayer, which is what I have come to teach you, they communicated with their Lord. They were animated by his presence, and they were able to understand what the will of their master was. Now you realize why I adopted them as the base or foundation of my church. Are you aware that I wish to form a new temple? Who will form the foundation of the sanctuary? I will choose the strong, the faithful in virtue, those who are understanding and charitable, because their examples will be worthy of imitating. The secret sanctuary of your Father is about to flood its heritage upon the spirit of mankind. In your nation, I have fulfilled my promise to return to men. But those who have had the grace to listen to my teaching should, because of this, not feel privileged towards the rest of mankind. Because the essence of my word will reach every heart at its designated time, saying to them, "Welcome, my children, who, without weariness, reach my presence to hear my word. You are my disciples, chosen from among the great multitudes who have come to me, and your heart, full of faith, firmly believing in this manifestation, receives my word and my maxims as the seed of truth." You arrived with a burden of suffering and imperfections, with a hunger and thirst for peace and tenderness, and the Master did not stop to behold your blemishes before seating you at his table and serving you the best nourishment. You related everything about your life and the vicissitudes along the way to the Father. You showed the nakedness of your spirit, whose clothing was torn to shreds by the hurricane winds. Deeply moved, the Father took you to the fountain where you cleansed your stains. He gave you new and clean clothing, and, seating you around him, he gave you the first lesson, which was like a kiss for you, a caress, a drop of healing balsam. Thus I began to form within the heart of each disciple my book of wisdom and love, which you should never close, because its contents are not meant for only you. In its pages there is fortitude for your ordeals, and light to dissipate your ignorance. I come to you because your brethren, who possess the knowledge, have concealed the truth from mankind, and have filled their hearts with egotism. I have not come to sell you my love, nor my word, nor my benefits. I only expect you to be prepared, so that I can send you to other regions and villages, to convey to your brethren the good news of my doctrine. For in all the world there are men who await my return. I wish that by 1950, which is the time that I will cease to communicate in this manner, you will find yourselves strong in order to begin the struggle. I have separated you from fanaticism and idolatry, to fill your heart with the essence of my teaching, so that you may elevate yourselves to your Father, offering him a cleansed, spiritual, and simple worship. In the same way that I have taught you, I want you to teach your brethren. When the elements are unleashed, be united, O disciples, and through your good deeds, elevation, faith, and unification, I will spread my miracles among you, which will be a testimony for the unbelievers, a testimony that I am with you. The revelations confined within my secret sanctuary, which I'll reserve for you, are still a mystery, because you have to become worthy of them. The day that I cease to speak to you in this manner is not far away. I want you to be prepared by then, so that there is not a single disciple who is ignorant of how to pray before the Father. The ordeals of life are tempering your spirit. Do not rebel nor complain about them, because afterward, when the whirlwind has passed, you will weep with regret for having offended me with your lack of faith. Remember that I have provided you with weapons, so that you will be able to defend yourselves. They are prayer and faith. Pray, and if the storm lashing against your home batters the door down, in truth I say to you that the flame of your lamp, apparently weak, will not be extinguished. When you behold those whom you have converted withdrawing from the path, throwing away with contempt the bread you had offered them, your heart is filled with pain, and you sorrowfully come before the master to place your troubles upon him. But the master says to you, if it is ingratitude that guides the steps of these, do not fear, allow them to leave. Be vigilant and pray for them. But if they left you because of your lack of concern and example, for that you will have to answer to me. If some throw the bread away and depart, others will come. They will gather the crumbs, and with them they will attain peace and happiness. Those who left will return in search of my laborers, because on their trek through the desert, hunger and thirst will surprise them. You who have not been sent to judge the faults of your brethren will welcome them with goodwill. He who is sick you will heal, and he who is hungry you will nourish. If, in spite of having given your help, they deny you, forgive them. I will be the one to judge them. Your spiritual past is a mystery to you. That is why I say to you that you should accept your ordeals with meekness, because you are in a time of judgment and spiritual restitution. The time in which you came to the world to receive honors, enjoyments, pleasures, or to accumulate riches has passed. Today you come to live in humility, to purify yourselves, to elevate yourselves through the ordeals, and to serve your Lord, being useful to your fellow men. Write within your heart a book with your good deeds, and it will give you peace in this existence and infinite happiness in eternity. If someone accumulates riches in exchange for my word and my gifts, I will say to you once more, as I did during the second era, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. How meritorious it is to see before me those who only yesterday enjoyed satisfactions, honors, and comforts, and today they follow my footsteps with gentleness and humility. Among you are some whom I have tested like Job, for it is not my will that the spirits become lethargic. I want them to be diligent along the path. There will come a time for each one in which the voice of the judge will ask you, not only for the word that he, as the master, delegated to you, but also what you did towards the fulfillment of your mission. Prepare your spiritual gifts of vision, intuition, and presentiment, so that you will be given to know, in a figurative sense, the test which pertains to you, so that you may overcome it with your prayer. Allow my word to guide you, since you are already convinced that I am revealing it for your own good. These teachings seem new to you, because you have forgotten them. But today, during the third era, I have come to reveal them to you once more. I have prepared for you a great domain, to which I invite you, so that in it you will learn to sow the seed of eternity that I am entrusting to you. I come to prepare my new disciples, so that through their faith and charity, they can attain power over the illnesses of the body and the spirit, and over the elements of creation. Understand that it is not time for you to live in ignorance anymore. Today, you live in the era of light, of the great revelations that my teaching offers you. Can you imagine the wisdom that you could have attained if you had practiced my lessons since the first era, complying with my law? However, you have surrendered to worldly enjoyments and remained stationary along the road of your spiritual evolution. That is why I have returned with my new lesson today. This will seem strange to you, incomprehensible, and beyond your way of living. But it would be enough if you meditate on a single one of my lessons for you to acknowledge the truth of my word. Then you will see that there is nothing strange about my doctrine, but rather your way of being outside of my law. Come to my domain. Remember my teaching that you had forgotten. Erase every bad seed, and I will demonstrate the teaching that, up to now, you have not contemplated. Thus, I will bring you out of your lethargy, of your fanaticism, to allow you to penetrate into a true life, a life you should have lived since the beginning of your creation. Do you see how humble this word is, which flourishes from the lips of the spokesman? Truly, I say to you, that in its simplicity, it will convey light to men, so that they may understand my revelations, which, by means of science and theology, they were not able to comprehend. The good disciples, the perseverant, the faithful, will be the ones who will analyze this doctrine. They will also be humble, but in spite of their simplicity, they will surprise their brethren with the wisdom of their interpretations. My people will not only speak about my teachings, but with their deeds they will teach mankind how my law should be fulfilled and respected as well. Without egotism, they will be able to give all that they have received from their Father, and they will demonstrate their zeal for the truth and purity of the treasure entrusted to them. Teach your brethren with good and elevated deeds. Keep in mind that you should purify your spirit while you are still here, so that it will be worthy to proceed to another mansion along its path of spiritual evolution. Take from my teaching the necessary strength to remove the obstacles that you find along your path. You know well that the weapon that conquers all is love. It will be a great joy for the one who comes out triumphant in that struggle, and comes before me as the victorious warrior after having won that battle. Remember that it is I who has given you the weapon of love, and in addition, I have taught you to fight to win the great battles. So what are you seeking along other roads, when I am giving you everything along the path of truth? I come to manifest myself through the faculty of the lowly. I come to open the eyes of those blind to the light of truth, so that they will be purified of their sins, feeling themselves loved by their Lord. Were you not told during the second era that the day would come in which every eye would see me? He who is cleansed will see me, and that will be his reward. He who bears blemishes within his heart will also see me, and that will be his salvation. He who opens his eyes before my light penetrates into the mystery and knows the reason for my revelations. He, knowing my truth, will walk firmly in the future. Interpret my teaching justly. Do not think that my spirit is pleased seeing your suffering on earth, or that I have come to deprive you of all that is gratifying to you, to delight myself with it. I come to make you recognize and respect my laws, for they are worthy of your respect and observance, and because obeying them will bring you happiness and eternal peace. Through Jesus, I taught you to give God what is God's, and to Caesar what is Caesar's. But for men of today, only Caesar exists, and they have nothing to offer their Father. If only you would give to the world what is just, your worries here would be less. But Caesar has dictated absurd laws to you. He has converted you into his slaves, and he takes your life without giving you any compensation. Observe how different my law is, which does not enslave the body or the spirit. It only convinces with love and guides you with gentleness. It gives you everything in exchange for nothing. It rewards and compensates you along the way. O disciples, understand and study my lessons. I wish to form a group of people who will be the depository of my wisdom. For everything will be prepared so that you can fulfill great missions. Do not be intimidated by the first sound of the alarm. Learn to go and meet the one who is your so-called enemy, and forgive him, love him, and acquaint him with my teachings. Thus, I want you to be prepared for the day of my departure. All of you know that 1950 is the date indicated by my will to cease communicating through a human faculty. And as my word is always fulfilled, that day will terminate this communication, which marked the beginning of the third era for you. Do not attempt to change that date, nor try by any method to retain the manifestation of my word by this means, or that of the spiritual realm. I say to you now that those who will attempt any of this will not be illuminated by the light of the Master. Why must you fall into such a profanation when I have announced and promised that, after this period, you will communicate with me from spirit to spirit, even when you have not been faculties before? I will also say at this moment that the prophets of this period have the responsibility to be prepared, for they have the mission to warn the multitudes of the ordeals that await them. I will reveal great prophecies to them, in order to help you not to fall into temptation. My peace be with you.